Hello and welcome to another episode of Raw Chatter. I am your host speaking, Vicky Midwood, the Human Health Optimizer, and I am here today talking about habit change and just what is the intention-behaviour gap and how do we overcome it. So I know that us humans struggle with change, especially when it comes to lifestyle change and stuff that we know that we should, in inverted commas, be doing. And it doesn't have to be about health. It could be, but it could be about your business. It could be what you're doing in terms of your partnerships or your friendships. In other words, if you're not happy with anything that you are currently doing and you have decided you want to change it and you have looked into how you go about it and what you should be doing, and yet you still can't do it, that's what we kind of talk about when we are discussing the intention behavior gap. You have all good intentions. You definitely want it. It's nothing to do with you. It's just a wish, or it would be a nice to have. You're absolutely clear that you want this thing. And yet you just don't seem to be able to take the behavior consistently. And you find that you're falling back into old patterns and habits. Hands up if that's you, if you can resonate. I think anybody can. I mean, dieting is a typical example of that, or starting a habit of going to the gym on a regular basis. But it could be things like in your business. If you are deciding that you want to, for example, increase your email sign-up list, and you know that the way to do it is to be posting freebies or whatever to get people to sign up for your thing, and yet you're not doing it, or you know that you need to be going into LinkedIn and making comments on other people's posts to help you get engagement and to get your stuff seen more in your own feed, yet you're posting but you're kind of running away. So you know what you should be doing, but you're not doing it. This is for you, right? We're all humans. We've all been there. We've all done this. Nobody, I don't think, listening to this is going to sit there and go, oh, no, that's not me. I've never done that. We all have this attention gap, and not attention, but it's an intention behavior gap. And it kind of is an attention gap as well. Why? Because we're not paying attention. We're not fully conscious. And therefore, when we're not fully conscious, we are going to do what is unconscious. And our unconscious habits are the things that our brain has very handily filed in a particular part of our brain. That means we don't have to remember how to do stuff all of the time, which is a good thing, isn't it? Because if you had to remember how to do Facebook ads, or if you had to remember how to dress yourself every morning, if you had to remember how to drive to work, or how to do your commute, we would waste an awful lot of time, wouldn't we? So we don't. Right? Things that we repeat often, pretty much every day or multiple times a day, your brain very handily kind of files away into a space and a place in our brain where we don't have to consciously think about it. We just do it. And you're all familiar with this. Most of us go through the motions of brushing our teeth without actually thinking about consciously, what are we doing? How is our hand moving? What are we doing? We just do it. Same thing if you drive regularly a similar route. How many times, again, hands up, have you said, well, I found myself that I was at home and I don't remember getting there, right? Because you've driven the same route so many times, you kind of can do it almost unconscious. And so my point is this. We have the intention, but there are a number of reasons why we're not actually doing the stuff that we know we should be doing. And it's nothing to do with being stupid, and it's nothing to do with willpower, but it's everything to do with these four things that I'm going to cover. So number one is you are just not around people who are doing the thing that you want to do. And if you don't see the people around you doing the thing that you want to do, it makes it significantly harder for you to actually do something different. Why? Because we all want to fit in. We all want to feel a part of. We all want to feel like we belong. And so we will find ourselves doing the stuff that everybody else is doing. Whether that's what we want to do because we have set a new intention or not, you're going to find yourself more likely repeating the habits that you've always done with the people who also do those habits. And this is why doing things like en masse, as a group, as a community, can be really, really helpful. Why? Because you're now with people who have the same intention as you, and therefore they're going to be encouraging each other to take the steps in terms of change of behavior, thought patterns, etc., that are required to make the new habit automatic. But as an example that I think potentially those of you who do not drink alcohol can resonate with, if you are the only person who is choosing not to drink, and you're with a group of people who pride themselves on how much they can drink and still stay standing, or they want to go out and get hammered because that's their idea of a good night out, then your intention can be so positive. But once you're around them, you are going to find it mighty difficult not to join in with the behavior that they are doing. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a work thing as well, if you're used to being around people who do the bare minimum, and it literally is, oh, that's good enough, then chances are you're not going to be producing your best stuff. And that means that, are you going to get the promotion that you set your intention on? Potentially not. So this is one of the reasons why we don't do what we say we're going to do. It's because people like you, or the people that are around you who you think are like you, are not doing it. And it really is, a lot of it is down to social norms. If everybody is eating fast food at lunchtime, then chances are you're probably going to join in, even if you set the intention not to. And you have to be very strong in your own self and be really clear on why you're doing it, not to feel almost sometimes intimidated or pressured to do what everybody else is doing. So it's really powerful, and that's why I put it at number one, because it's probably the most powerful reason why people don't do the behavior that they want to do, that they intend to do, that they know they should do, and they know how to do it, but they just don't do it. So that's number one. Number two is often we just haven't done it for long enough for it to be automated. So I mentioned that right at the start. Once we have done something lots and lots and lots of times, your brain isn't stupid, right? It tries to help you out. It wants you to be successful. It wants you to feel good. It wants you to enjoy the stuff that you're doing. And when you keep doing stuff, it's going to automate it for you. So you don't have to make it conscious. But, and here's the thing, it takes a different amount of time for everybody for certain behavior patterns to become automated. And no, there isn't a number. And for anybody who keeps repeating, or you've heard it repeated and it's still out there, and I've done this before, it's based on a line in a book. And it takes 21 days to change a habit. It's rubbish, right? It's absolutely not the case. I'm not going to share again where it's from because I've already done that on a previous episode. But my point is, it's from a book, and it was to do with how people see themselves having had cosmetic surgery, right? And it's nothing to do with actual behavioral habit changes at all. Now, has there been scientific stuff on it? Yes. Have they created a number where there's an average? Yes. Well, people like numbers, but that's the only reason why. And again, one size does not fit all. So if anybody turns around to you and says it takes X amount of days to change a habit, right? Just smile and go, okay, right? Because you can change a habit overnight on certain things. You can just decide you're not going to do something and you stop doing it, end of, right? And it can be literally that quick. Or it can take 6 months, 7 months, a year, sometimes more, to get that particular habit fully automated and embedded, right? And nobody should be giving you an exact timeline or a guarantee, because you can't. Every single habit is going to have different connections, different neural pathways. You will have associations, you will have perceptions, you will have your own story attached to why you do the thing you do, why you feel the way you feel, and why you think the way you think about the thing. So to say that it takes a specific number of days to change a habit, honestly, is total BS, right? So let's scrap that. But we need to have done it a sufficient amount of times for it to become automated for you. And that's the key thing, for you. And how do you know you've automated it? Well, when you find that you're doing it without you having to consciously do it, it's just a part of your daily, your weekly routine. That's when you know it's been automated. When it no longer feels hard, this is now who I am, this is what I do. That's when you know it's automated. Is that a process? Yes. Do you have to be conscious consistently for multiple times, multiple repetitions? Yes. Can you do it sporadically? No. Do you have to be committed to doing it constantly? Yes. Does it take effort? Yes. Is it hard? Well, that depends on your definition of hard. If you think effort equals hard, well, then yes, it can be hard. But if you think effort is just that, it's effort, it's being conscious, then no, it's as simple, and you can make it fun, and you can really get curious, and you can see it as an experiment. And that is how we close that gap between intention and behavior. The third thing is that people don't believe, or should I say, they don't fully believe that they can do it. In other words, you've got low self-efficacy, you've got low self-belief, and it's usually because you've done the other two things in the past. Because remember, our brain goes to the past for reference to something that we're doing now, or that we're predicting, or we're talking about wanting to do in the future. Why? Because the past is the only reference that your brain and your body have. And if you didn't do it last time, and let's go back to maybe the drinking, or the starting an exercise, or a regular exercise program, or doing something to do with your business that you know you should be doing every single day, but you're not, and you know how to do it, you're just not doing it. And you don't believe you can. Why? Because of the other things, because the people around you are not doing it, and because you didn't give yourself enough time to automate it. Therefore, the story is, I can't do this. It won't work for me. And so this is where we've got to recognize you can do whatever you decide to do if you utilize the tools and you understand the process behind the implementation. And you have to believe that you can, because usually the only thing stopping you, if you know the how, and if you have got the skills, or you're prepared to put in the effort to master the skills through repetition, which is all automation is, then you will do it. And this is why setting yourself small goals to start with is so, so important. Because if you do something that is going to be easy for you to do, no, it's not a cop-out. It's training your brain and your nervous system and your self-belief, your self-efficacy to go, actually, no, I can do this stuff. So that's the third thing. And that's again, how we close that gap. Don't make your goals, don't make the behavior change initially too big. Start with something that is doable and that you can actually enjoy and that you'll get a benefit from. So you can go, actually, yeah, I can do what I say I'm going to do. It will work for me. I just need to be consistent and need to be really courageous and not do what everybody else around me is doing. If I am determined, I can do this. And then the last thing, and it's kind of the similar lines of what stops us from doing it when we see the people around us doing their old behaviors, is that it doesn't feel good to start with, right? If you are the only person who is not drinking in a room full of people who are, it's going to feel a bit awkward, a bit uncomfortable. It's definitely going to be unfamiliar if you've never done that before. And this is where we've got to recognize that going by how it feels is not necessarily a good indicator, because your brain and your body want to conserve energy, and they always want to feel comfortable and safe, because that means they're not under threat. That means you're not likely to die. Okay, now I've said that multiple times, and I'm not going to go into detail on it because I have on various episodes, but that is our survival instinct. And so if it doesn't feel good, it's just because it's new, it's unfamiliar, we're not certain of the outcome. And so every part of your brain and body is going to do what you've always done, because it's familiar, it's known, we'll feel safe, it's certain. In other words, it's flipping comfortable. And nothing can change until you expand your comfort zone. And the only way you can expand your comfort zone is to not worry about it not feeling good. Because if it's new, it's not going to feel good because it's unfamiliar and it's uncertain. And you don't believe you can do it on top of that, then you're going to go back into something that does feel familiar, that does feel certain, which enlarges the gap between intention and behavior. And so this is where recognizing it's not about you stepping right out of your comfort zone. I don't recommend that at all. Right. But what I do recommend is that we see our comfort zone as a muscle that can grow, that can expand. And we want to expand that comfort zone so that we are okay with it not feeling great. That we understand the only way we're going to feel comfortable with doing anything new and different is to keep repeating it and tell ourselves that this discomfort will pass, and it will. The more you do it, the easier it will get. And you all know this. You've all lived this. We're all humans. Every single one of us have experienced that. The first time you go into a restaurant, it's a new experience. The first time, if you've got children, you take your kids into a restaurant, right? You don't know what the hell they're going to do. You don't know how they're going to behave. It's pretty scary. It feels uncomfortable often. But usually, if you take them out once a week, guess what? They start to know how to behave. They get comfortable with it. We've all done it on multiple things, whether it's business, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships. In other words, you've all got experience that you can do this stuff. And so this is where you have to get really clear on, why do I want to do this? How important is it to me? Do I have the knowledge and the understanding of how to do it? If you can tick both of those boxes, then you go, okay, so what do I need to be aware of? I need to surround myself with people who are already doing the thing that I want to start doing on a regular basis. I want to keep on repeating the pattern enough times to automate it, so that I can then believe I can do this because I am doing this. And I need to learn to recognize that just because something doesn't feel good doesn't mean that I have to stop. I can continue, and I will start to feel more comfortable with it. Change happens when you expand your comfort zone, and that takes time. It takes perseverance. It takes courage. It takes repetition. And crucially, it takes curiosity. And if you make it fun, and if you see it as an experiment, then actually you can embrace change, because that is how you step into being the identity of a person who does eat well 90% of the time, who doesn't drink because they choose to, not because they have to, or not because it's a gimmick, but because they want to be somebody who is in charge of their faculties. But they can have a drink also if they choose to. If you want to be somebody who's got a regular exercise habit, if you want all of those things that you say you want, and you want a successful business, and you want to be more present with your kids, then the practice is what you need to do. And yes, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And do I recommend that you look at the people you're spending most of your time with and look at their behavior habits and their thoughts and their patterns? And if the answer is, are these people going to help me and support me, or are they going to make it more challenging? Know that and be prepared. I hope that's helpful. As always, folks, I thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. And if you've enjoyed what I've just shared here, then, and maybe if you find that somebody you know could find it helpful as well, can you pass it on to them? Because I'd love you to share about this podcast. I'm really excited that people are actually now asking to be guests on here, because they have got a message that is really powerful and important to share. And so I just want you to help me to get more people listening. And I'll leave you as I always do with this. We only have one life as far as we know, and one body. So please, please look after it, because it is looking after you. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the summer. Bye-bye.